Oh, hi again. Welcome back to my studio. I'm going to kind of walk through for you a little bit of how we build a project and how we put the design parts of the project together. Kind of like you're learning in our Masterpiece University. One of the very first steps is we have to come out to see your house, or if you're not in our area, whoever you're dealing with will come out to your house and take a look at your environment. Maybe your house is brand new and it has nothing outside. Maybe your house, you've lived in it for 20 years and it has some old landscaping outside that you want to change. In this particular instance here, this is, oh, look at that. There's a butterfly flying across. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty small. But that's the kind of detail that we put into our projects. You can see the waterfall moving with the water coming down. You can hear it. And when I come back away, and you see the patio cover that we built. You see the we call them slotted patio covers that has an open roof. So you can see those different kinds of items in our 3D design. But the 3D design is really kind of the last thing that we show you. What we do is we come out to your project, we look at your project and measure it, pick up plans from you if you have some plans that show the house on the site. Then we sit down and talk to you about your ideas. This is the most critical thing for us, is learning what your dreams are. Maybe you want a fire pit. Maybe you want a fire pit, but never thought of a sunken fire pit. Maybe you want a fire pit, but never thought of a raised fire pit. Maybe you want a fire pit, but never thought of a double fire pit. Maybe you want a fire pit, but never thought of a fire pit place, as we call it. Oh, what's a fire pit place? We invent lots of things at Masterpiece University. We're constantly trying to come up. Our design team in the back office is constantly trying to come up with new types of ideas. How does that happen? The way it happens is we get inspired by your project. We'll come out and see your project and listen to your ideas. One of the projects we did for a young man called Eric Parker and his family. Now, Eric was on the football team of the San Diego Chargers, and he was one of their stars. They would throw the passes, and he would always catch them until he got hurt. And after he got hurt, he decided, I want to do something good. I want to continue to help the community. And what Eric did, and I love this, Eric started a training school for youth to show them how to become better and more professional athletes and to help them work into the industry. Well, one of his problems was he had to have some way to train them, not having an Olympic swimming pool in his backyard. He wanted to have a way to train his young athletes to show to get them to be able to swim or walk in water and do the different kinds of things that water can do for you for exercising. But it was in his backyard. So he presented me with a different problem. Okay, what do I do there? How am I going to take his backyard, and he had a large backyard, make it to where he can have it as a training center for his athletes and also as a great family entertainment area for his family to use. And his wife was very involved in this too. And so what we worked out and what I worked out for them was what I think turned out to be a beautiful swimming pool that had two walking lanes from end to end, 52 feet long, that were 4.5 feet deep. Now, why would you have a walking lane in a swimming pool? Because for exercise, walking in the pool is really, really good. We get many retired people that their doctors have said, oh, you need to walk. But maybe they live on a hill and they can't walk up and down the hill. So the doctors many times have said, how about getting a swimming pool, finding a pool that you can walk in? And this is the same kind of thing that Eric is wanted to do with his athletes. So I created an environment, a swimming pool water environment, where he had two lanes that his training athletes could walk and run from end to end. I mean, some of the ideas that we came up with were amazing. One of them was to have like a cable that went across the pool from the waterfalls on one side to a tree on the other that his athletes could walk across. I think that one ended up never happening. But I'm trying to show you that we try to think outside the box. For fire pits, I designed a fire pit for Eric that would be right next to his swimming pool, and then you sit around the other side, look across the fire pit to the water, and then the huge waterfall on the other side of the pool. But we came up with even a better idea, and Eric actually helped us with this. Eric and his wife. We separated the fire pit, kind of cut it down the middle, and made it into 2 fire pits. And so we had 2 fire pits at different levels. Because it wasn't any larger, we were able to do it for just about the same cost as just a regular fire pit. So that shows you some ways that you can come up with other ideas. Other things that we did out of his project, we did a huge Shamu beach entry. We call it Shamu because we're like whales out there, or porpoises out there that we like to sit and lounge in the water about up to our waist. And that's the way a Shamu entry does. A Shamu beach entry takes you down to that level, but brings you out with a slope like this, where you're completely out of the water. So the water is kind of like this. If you can imagine my arms and hands, that's water here. And so this is stone coming up out of the pool. That's the way I have it on my swimming pool. And it's really a very cool thing to have, because you can lay back in the pool and be slightly covered with water, but also be sunbathing or have an umbrella. Many times we'll put an umbrella stand into the pool, and you can have an umbrella that covers you, and you can actually be in the shade. Amazingly, people think, why do I want shade around a swimming pool? Believe me, you will want shade around your swimming pool. I've had many swimming pools over the years, and we're always looking for shade because you get the reflection of the sun and you're always wanting shade. So one of the things that we designed into our projects is trying to think, how can I put some shade into the project? And so many times we will build areas where you can have an umbrella, which is an inexpensive kind of shade, or we'll build larger, more substantial structures that are, like mini pavilions or patio covers or slatted patio covers that will let kind of filtered sun come in, that if you want, you can have plants growing over the top of them. This is what we do with design. And then the next step is to put that design into a project like this. In this particular project, we built a large tiled patio coming out from the house. And the one thing that has always irritated me, and it probably does you too, you go and look at a project and maybe they have a room addition or they have some roof addition or something added onto their house. And it's so obvious to see where the original house was, and then here kind of pasted on is the room addition. Again, this is a house and a project that we won an international award for. And believe me, you can't tell where the old house begins or ends and the new patio cover begins. That melding of the two together is so critical, because we don't want it to look like a pasty. We don't want it to look like an add-on. We want it to look like it was built at the same time the house was built. We do the same thing with our slatted patio covers. Now, what a slatted patio cover is, that's a term that we made up, is you have beams going this way and sometimes beams going this way, depending on how much shade you want. And then depending on how close together these guys are, that will give you more or less shade. And then sometimes you can actually even put a net or a screen over the top of that for more shade during the sunniest times of the year. We also have built, and it's one of my favorite things to see, is a freestanding tile-roofed patio cover. So this is a patio cover that is out away from the house, okay, with a tiled roof. Imagine this yellow is really red, a red tiled roof. And it is architecturally magnificent, and it adds tremendous value to your house and certainly joy and pleasure. From those, we can add a fan if you're in a warm area. We can have lighting. We can do so many things, even with stereos and TVs and entertainment centers, or put your barbecue into that area. So this kind of gives you an idea of what you have to look forward to with Masterpiece University, and look forward to seeing you in our next section.